We're back with more unbelievable Reddit stories. I'm Shane, and today is very special. We're going to be revisiting some of the classics from when we read Reddit stories on Twitch a couple of years ago. A lot of these aren't on the channel, and they are very fun. And our guests today, Angela and Chance, man, welcome back. So you guys weren't here when we were doing Reddit stories on Twitch.
No, we weren't born.
So you were not even babies yet.
Yeah.
So we, at one point on Twitch, did a tournament of assholes where for a couple weeks we were doing like a bracket system, like moving up who is the biggest asshole on Am I the Asshole?
Oh, that's so fun.
And we had a very clear winner, but I'm curious if you guys can also maybe determine who it was as we read them.
Oh, that's so fun.
I've done a tournament of assholes too.
Nice. Cool. Should we hop right in?
Yeah.
Should we get right into this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay, I'm excited!
Nice. Nice.
If there was a Reddit Stories theme song, what would it be? It'd be like, ba-doo, ba-doo,
That's
ba-doo.
what I was thinking
It'd
too.
It'd be like,
Welcome back.
Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom.
crazy stories,
Yeah.
buttholes, lies, nuts, stuff. You don't want to. You go.
Let's dive into it.
For now, that's the official theme. Am I the asshole for privately asking my friend about the paternity of her children?
I'm gonna say already no. No.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole, because some of them kids don't be looking like them daddies. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Saw another post that reminded me of this situation. A few years ago, my close childhood friend gave birth to triplets. Her husband is a light black man. Of the three, two were the same skin tone as her husband, and the third was much darker. The skin tones made me a little suspicious that her husband might not be the father. I pulled her aside privately and asked her seriously if her husband was the father. She didn't even listen or answer rationally. She just freaked out at me and acted super insulted and kicked me out. I reached out to her husband and told him about her reaction and told him he should get a paternity test, and he called me an asshole and blocked me. Neither has spoken to me since. I've always thought that they dramatically overreacted and were probably hiding something because of their responses, but they're still married and sometimes I feel bad about what happened. I just felt a lot of empathy for her husband because I would be devastated if I wasn't confident that I was the father of my future children. Was I an asshole for asking privately?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, your original answer was no,
Yeah.
and now you think yes.
Oh, they're triplets? Did you
They're
say-
triplets.
That's well then, she's like,
Of the three, two were the same skin tone as her husband, and the third was much darker. And that's why she's like, I don't know, that third triplet that you gave birth to.
but they're not identical.
She's like, I'm gonna get one
Yeah.
more round of margaritas, and then I want to talk to you.
No, 'cause they split the Punnett Square. Is that what it's called, Punnett Square?
At no point, she doesn't say, it's not said that they're identical
No.
triplets, it's just triplets.
They're just triplets.
But, I mean, my ultimate opinion on this is like, it's none of your business.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, especially, okay,
100%.
you already go and you say this to her and she freaks out at you.
Yeah.
Then you go and contact the husband
Yeah,
on
that's
top of
crazy.
that. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
why are you so
Yeah.
Invested.
concerned? I mean,
This feels like maybe one of those friendships where they're all up in each other's business already. Where it just feels like already one of those, like those friendships where they're
Yeah.
like really like involved and they talk to each other's moms and stuff.
yeah, my close childhood friend.
Yeah.
So they just feel like a sense of like,
Ah.
you're my
Like boundaries
responsibility.
are already blurred.
That is true.
That's a good point, Angela.
Yeah. But she's an asshole.
She's an asshole.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Asshole's an asshole.
Especially after contacting the husband. Like, leave it. Leave it.
It's also one of those situations where
like a dog.
Leave it.
it's one of those situations I feel like I say like we're all stupid in certain ways, and like she's not a biologist, right? So she's like, this doesn't look like it makes sense. It's like, maybe you just don't understand how genetics work.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it's like,
You don't
let's
have
try
be
to
like,
figure it out. Yeah.
I figured this out. No, this doesn't. Some comments here. So first off, triplets are rare. Multiples like that imply, to me, IVF. For all you know, the husband is infertile and they needed IVF to conceive, and you just hit a massive sore spot by being an inconsiderate ass. Secondly, there are a lot of factors for skin color, and it is more than possible for a child to have markedly darker or lighter skin than their parent. Finally, what business is it of yours? So yes, you're the asshole. You intruded on a subject that's none of your damn business, and then when your friend got upset at you for being nosy, you tried to blow up her marriage. In what world would you not be the asshole? I'm not surprised that they cut you out of their lives. OP responded, they had them naturally, not through IVF. I was just concerned because none of them were any lighter than her husband, only the same tone or darker, and she is very fair. Commenter responded, they had them naturally, not through IVF. You assume. Unless you were in the bedroom with them, you don't know that for certain. Regardless, the skin color of the parents is not the only factor that determines the skin color of the child. OP responded, you're incorrect. She told me when they started trying, and she told me when she got pregnant soon after. We were very close, and I know better than you do that they didn't use IVF. Commenter responded, so she told you that they were trying for kids, and right after that she was pregnant, but you still decided she cheated on her husband and had another man's babies based solely on the fact that one of the triplets was dark, and of course she didn't respond to that. Someone else said, dude, genetics. One of his parents likely has a darker skin tone, and that came through in the grandchild. Not uncommon, super normal. You are a flaming asshole for this. I cannot give a bigger, you're the asshole. And then lastly, someone said, you're the asshole for contacting your husband. Yes. What the f***? Are you new to life? Someone else replied to that saying, this could get a woman killed, OP. Jesus. You don't know their relationship. You don't know. Like, that's just such an intense thing to throw. The suggestion of that to throw at a couple is so mean because, like, they're going to have some sort of conversation about it. They're going to have to be like, can you believe she said that? Like, we know.
Yeah.
I guess I'm also very used to it growing up with, like, a white family, and everyone's like, what is that one doing? Like, wait, what? Why you look like that? So, like, it's very, like, bounces off. It bounces off.
Interesting.
So I was like, no, not the asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an edit here. Okay, I get it. I'm an asshole. I want to make it clear that I didn't think the triplets had different fathers. I'm not an idiot. I thought it was possible, given the skin tone of the third triplet, that all three were fathered by a darker man, and the first two were a bit lighter because my friend was very fair.
How often, though, do you get in these posts where the asshole goes, okay, I'm the asshole?
I respect them a tiny bit when they do that. You know, I can respect that move. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I hear you.
I've listened to everyone.
Asked, you answered.
Yeah.
I heard.
All right. Yeah, they admitted I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
That makes them probably not the king of the assholes.
Yeah,
definitely not.
She's already fighting at a lower bracket for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of if we are doing this tournament.
Lightweight asshole.
Yeah, lightweight asshole because she's listening and she's reading.
Okay.
She's reading.
The posts.
Yes.
Oh.
She's reading all of these scientists going, dude,
The
genetics.
scientists.
Dude, genetics.
IVF.
I know IVF.
Dad, do you know IVF?
That's good.
Dad.
That's good.
All right, this next one's incredible. I remember.
Yay!
So, quick preface here. Something that we used to do that I want to start doing again on this show is there were assholes, but there were also legends. Stories where someone in it is awesome. And you respect them beyond anything else. A good example, I don't know if you guys
Like Jesus.
I don't know if you guys were in the episode. Do you remember the story about the guy who brought his pet raccoon to the wedding? One of the stories that we had on this show was a guy brought his pet raccoon to a wedding.
Okay.
And people were mad because they said, don't bring the pet raccoon. But he's like,
Why?
I had nowhere else to bring him. Now, he might have been the asshole, but Pebble, the raccoon in a bow tie at the wedding is a legend.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, Pebble did nothing wrong. Pebble's awesome. So there's legends, and there's also people who do awesome stuff. There was a story we read about a guy who, there was an unfair dress code imposed on a woman at his job, so he started wearing, like, he's like a big 250-pound guy, so he started wearing yoga pants and like, whatever.
Okay, legends.
Legends. There are people who are legends. So this is a legend.
Like when everyone gave money to that charity.
Awesome legend.
Legends.
Legends. Okay, but this is one of my favorite legends. Am I the asshole for serving my daughter wet-ass pizza?
I love it.
43-year-old woman here. My 16-year-old daughter had some friends over in our backyard for a get-together yesterday. I asked them if they wanted food, and they said sure, but honestly didn't seem like they were even having fun. I pride myself in being a fun mom. Maybe not a cool mom, but fun. So I ordered pizza for them. To make them laugh, I played that song, Wet Ass P*** from my phone, and I sang along to it holding the pizza singing Wet Ass Pizza. Honestly, I thought it was hilarious. Then I put the pizza down and began booty shaking a little. No boys were there, just 3 girls.
No boys!
My daughter shrieked as if she'd been stabbed and said this was humiliating, and I said, sounds like dry pizza energy. As a joke. And her friends snickered a bit, so I know the joke landed. Well, it's been a day and she won't leave her room or speak to me. Am I really in the wrong?
Okay, how old is the daughter?
16. Sounds like dry pizza energy.
It does sound like dry pizza energy. Like, she was not wrong at all.
This woman's a fucking legend.
Woman's a legend, yeah. I can imagine how long it would go on too, because there was like different segments, there was different acts.
Right? Yeah, she did a whole thing.
Act 1 was bringing it in, Act 2 is dancing, Act 3, got to close it out with the
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's my stance. Here's what I feel about this.
Okay.
You can live in a world where both exist, that this woman is a legend, and that was fucking humiliating.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I think 16 is right in the area where you don't want your mom to be funny.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's only 3 friends. If it was like you had a party of a bunch of people,
yeah.
I think that elevates it. But it's like, it's a little just get together. They're just hanging out.
And I remember, I don't know, this is very personal, but I feel that I turned 18, and then it was okay for my mom to make me laugh. But there was an age, I think it was like, it was like 15 to 18 where she's not allowed to make me laugh.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing. Like, she's only allowed to make me smile.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Having met your mom, this feels like her energy.
It does.
And there was a time where if she did that, there's just no. And it's those ages.
Yeah.
And I feel for this girl, but also this is legendary behavior on behalf of the mom. And what I love about this, I have so much to say, I'm sorry. What I love about this is that the mom did this based off of the vibes she was picking up on. And it sounded like they weren't having fun, which only makes me think, like, what if they were talking about something really serious?
Oh. And
like,
the mom comes in with this pizza, wet-ass
pizza. Like, what if something really serious happened at school and they were talking?
And they don't want to tell the mom. That's brutal.
Oh.
That's a whole different perspective, and I love it.
I'm imagining, you know how there's a part in the song where there's that like truck horn sound? If she had like a little horn that she like, So she was determined the asshole by the comments.
Okay.
Which I think your point is very fair. This is allowed to be funny and also
sad.
And it's also what level of asshole here, right? Like we read so many stories where someone like breaks up a marriage and it's like, yeah, you're a absolute asshole. This is like, okay, you're an asshole, but your daughter's gonna laugh about it in a couple of years.
Something can be wet and dry at the same time.
No, it can't.
Damn it. Okay, some comments. You sound like a cringy mom. You're trying too hard to be cool, but to your daughter and her friends, it's an old person trying to be hip and totally failing. They weren't laughing at your joke, they were snickering at you. You embarrassed your daughter and you should apologize.
Incorrect.
Even if your intentions were good, you didn't have the effect you hoped for and you're the asshole. Someone else said, you're the asshole, you're her mother, not her friend. Act like her mother and don't try to be the cool mom. Your kid will either think that you are cool or not. Acting like you're filming a TikTok is more likely going to embarrass her in front of her friends. Someone else said, no one's the asshole. I feel people are being way too hard on OP. Yeah, it's cringy and everything your parents do, like breathing, is super humiliating when you're a kid. I'm getting the Amy Poehler mom vibe, just from the meme only. But I haven't seen the movie, but she doesn't have to f***ing crawl in a hole and die just because she had kids. A lot of parents are super uptight, can't joke around, don't let their kids do anything fun. Let this woman live. She isn't being abusive, toxic, or shitty to her kid. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
And also my parents didn't do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like my parents were a little more on the serious side. So, but
Yeah, my mom didn't do this stuff.
I also think
my parents did this stuff. They're silly.
Why I don't think it's, yeah, I agree. You embarrassed her in that moment.
Yeah.
But also like, I don't know. I got embarrassed a lot in
Yeah.
my teen years because I was trying to be an actor. So you just naturally, that happens. And honestly, some of it I'm a little grateful for.
Yeah.
Like you want different life experiences. I just think this is a story that when this daughter's like, like at this point now, the daughter's what, 20 now?
Yeah.
It's probably f***ing
They'll
hilarious.
probably joke about it all the
So
fucking
funny.
time now.
Also-
It's gotta be a staple.
I think if she did this around cousins, it's funny. You do this
Yeah.
around friends.
That's true.
At that age, for some reason, like I remember when I was with
I would
my
get
mom.
so mad.
When I was
So
with
mad.
my mom around friends, like it was so embarrassing to just have a mom.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like I would be with my mom, and if she was driving the car, I would duck. Because I don't want people to know, like, I'm with my mom.
But that's
I don't want
also
people to know I
so
have a mom.
sad.
Like, it's
That's
so sad
so
because
sad.
being 16, you're like, I'm an individual. And you're like, when you have a mom, you're like, no. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. But, like, if she did this around her cousins, I think it'd be funnier. If she did this, and, like, I don't know, if she did this for TikTok and she blew up, I bet she wouldn't be embarrassed. I don't know. I'm like, it's embarrassing.
But
when
the
you have your
mom is a
friends.
person too. The mom is also an individual, and they're just trying to relate to their daughter and be silly
Yeah.
and be fun. And
Oh my God, wet ass pizza.
wet ass pizza is good. It's dumb. It's stupid.
And then
I
for
love
her
it.
to punch up and go, you have dry ass pizza energy right now?
Incredible.
Yeah.
It might be different. Also, the intention if the mom was trying to embarrass her a little.
That's fair.
If you can tell when she's trying to embarrass her.
It's certainly one. I mean, these are very short stories. There's probably a lot of context there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are the typical interactions between this mom and daughter on a daily basis? That adds to it,
Yeah.
right? But as just in a vacuum, it just reads as a sitcom scene
Yes,
to
it
me.
does. Same.
All right, next one. Am I the asshole for telling my toddler brother that my winkie penis fell off? This story takes place 7 years ago when I was 13 and my brother was 3. As of today, he has enough of a working understanding of female biology to know that I was full of shit. I was using the restroom when I was on my period. My toddler brother walked in on me, got a clear sight of the blood, and asked what happened in a scared voice. I said, I'm bleeding because I was a bad boy when I was little and my winkie fell off. You better be a good boy or the same will happen to you. He runs out to the living room crying to my mom, saying that he's sorry for misbehaving and that he'll be a good boy from now on. My mom thought I was an asshole, but she also got a great laugh before setting my brother straight.
She set him straight, so it's not like scarred for life.
No. She said, yeah, at this
one-
point, now he's 10 years old now and he has an understanding. She's like,
Okay.
he knows.
Oh, but how funny if that kid goes to college and he's like, I don't want to cheat on a test. I don't want to lose my
He has a girlfriend and she's like, you really hurt me with what you said
like-
earlier. He's like,
No.
oh my God. No. She's like, what's going on? He's like, my winkie's gonna fall off. Oh my God. He gets arrested and he's like,
I think it's a good joke. I like it.
it's, what I remember saying at the time is like, damn, comedic reflexes.
Yeah.
Your toddler
that.
brother walks in, you're in a very like vulnerable situation.
No, she's
and you immediately go, my penis fell off.
Yeah.
That's insane. So,
also, like, she's using it like in a parenting way, where she's like, "Be a good boy, or else this will happen to you." Like, wow.
Oh shit.
once again, I think knowing like their dynamic on a more consistent basis would add to it, because it makes it sound like this is just as siblings already, and that's just typical sibling behavior.
Yeah, I feel like people are the asshole when you hear like, have you heard like where people tell kids the opposite, where they're like, they tell kids that pink is blue and blue is pink just to with their brains. Anyway, never mind.
I will say what I can relate to is because she was 13 and he was 3. My brothers were much older than me, like that age gap. And when you are only surrounded by people who are just actually authority figures to you, like they're not like, they were my brothers, but they were so much older that anything they said was true. It wasn't like a brother thing where I'm like, screw you. I remember one time my brother, we were both outside and he like disappeared for a second. I was like, Chris, where are you? I was like, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he appears out of nowhere and he's just like, dude, that was crazy. I was like, what? He's like, I just traveled around the world. Oh. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, like I don't know, I did. And he was just like recounting all these things that happened. And I was like, no, it didn't. That didn't happen.
Little shame.
But I was like, in my head, I was like, holy shit.
Like, what if it did though?
He really
Shame.
Wait, what if it really did happen? But anything that's said is true.
Yeah, it's true.
So for a little bit, that was absolute fact for him. Comments, you're the asshole, but honestly fairly harmless assholery and funny in retrospect. Reminds me of the time one of my childhood friends and I convinced his toddler-age brother that he was the only person in the world with a butt crack and everyone else just had one big cheek. He's like, do you guys poop? They're like, what is that? No.
Yours is cut in the middle?
You have 2? You're a freak.
Horizontally or vertically, or how's it cut?
You have a crack?
My opinion, this is a sibling saying this is like par for the course hilarious. A parent who does anything remotely like that, I'm like, you are a monster. You cannot do that shit to your kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just remembered. Oh my God. Oh my God. I played a huge prank on my brother when he was little. Me and my cousins. I completely forgot this.
What?
My brother would only drink ginger ale for a period of time. And we were like, you're gonna get gingivitis. I completely forgot this. And my brother was so scared. He was like, I'm gonna get gingivitis.
Yes, you're messing with him because he thinks ginger
is gingivitis.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
He's at a sushi restaurant nowadays. Do you want to add ginger to that? He's like, no.
Get that off my plate.
No. No one's the asshole. This is what siblings do to each other. When I was 8, my older brother convinced me that clown men can crawl out of the toilet and eat me if I don't aim right and feed them. So I mean,
Yeah, that's a good lie though.
Jesus
You should be peeing in the-
Christ.
Well, honestly, these are good if they help you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna pee on the seat because
The butt crack one is just mean.
You're the asshole, but not like a huge one. You weren't being malicious, and obviously this did not frighten him enough that it will affect him, and it'll just be another dumbass thing you said as a sibling. Okay, next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my friend the money I made selling her artwork?
What?
Now we're back to an actual asshole.
Okay.
Now we're making our way back.
I don't know. I'm getting legend vibes.
Stealing content, yeah. My friend is a new artist that has been getting a lot of attention lately. She recently started selling prints. When she listed them, she criminally underpriced them. I told her this. I said she could easily charge double for these prints. There is high demand. She didn't believe me. I bought 2 of her prints. I work in a coffee shop that doubles as a gallery, so I asked my boss if I could hang the 2 pieces. I listed them for sale, and they both sold for triple what I paid for them, like I thought. I ended up making around $300. I told a couple of people, and word got around to my friend. She started demanding the money from me for the sales. I told her absolutely not. I told her from the jump that she was undercharging. I think that this $300 is payment to me for showing her that. She's mad and has went to others for solace. Our friend group is really heated about it. They want me to give her the money. They think she's a hungry artist and I'm robbing her. Now I feel bad she missed out on the money, but does that make me an asshole? Am I the asshole?
Here's what it is. It's your friend. It's your friend. It's your friend. But also, isn't that what an art curator does? Don't they go find art and then bring it to a gallery and then people buy it for way more than they...
But don't the artist gets a cut of that.
The artist gets a cut of that.
Yeah, so I think this is also, I see this less as a business thing and more personal.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
That's
if you have
why
a
it's a
friend
friend.
who's like, does this as a passion thing,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey man, I think you're underpricing these. Like, oh no, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy these from you. And as a friend, I'm buying art from my friend.
Yeah.
And then I think even if you sold it, whatever, there's an element of just that you bought art from your friend and then sold it.
Yes.
It's like kind of also.
It's your friend
weird.
first.
It's like,
your friend
damn,
first.
dude, okay, so you didn't want it?
Friend
Yeah,
first.
like if you did this before with other art, maybe but like, this is the first time you've ever done this.
Or if they told them, like, hey,
Yes.
I'm gonna buy your art and I'm gonna let me buy your art and I'm gonna go sell it. And if it sells for more, I get to keep the money.
Or
make
even-
that deal.
Yeah.
It's the it's the friend first, and it's getting around. Like, you should have told your friend, hey, I actually put it up for sale in my art shop or in my coffee shop, and it's sold. That's like, I told you.
This is one of
Now
those.
here's some money.
This is one of those situations where I think people go, well, look, everything I didn't do anything wrong because all of this makes sense. And it's like, yeah, I see how it makes sense in your mind.
You're right.
But like, this is an emotional thing. This is
No,
like,
you're so
this
right.
is deeper. And okay, cool. You followed the rules in your head.
You bought the art.
I bought yes, everything.
It's your art.
Just because something is legal doesn't mean it's right. Or
You're right,
even
you're
take right and wrong out of this. Just like, hey, is your friendship worth $300? That's
You're
the decision.
so right, Shane.
Make that choice.
That like, is it right or does it feel right? Like,
Yeah.
like there's a difference here because it's like, sure, you own the art now.
Yeah.
Like, but like, I don't know. Yeah, but
It's
if
not
they
linear,
weren't
it's a
friends, is
web.
this okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If like they weren't friends, because I know people that do this with clothes, like Depop, like with
Absolutely.
Depop and shit.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, you find like an old that old T-shirt I found where it's like, oh, this is like a find, and then you put it on Depop and you sell it for more in like vintage, like for vintage buyers.
that's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine because you're not tied to the artist or the creator.
Right.
that
It's
made
because it's
it.
personal. If you
that
bought
time.
art at a yard sale and you go, oh shit, this is actually an incredible piece.
And you
I'm gonna sell
resell
this
it.
for more. That's totally fine.
Your friend fucking made this with their fucking hands.
Yeah. It's
weird.
disrespectful.
Weird.
They're choosing to end that friendship. Someone said, you're the asshole. At least give her some of it. Isn't she your friend? You're not treating her like one. Also, you have access to an art gallery. She doesn't. Why not at least split it with her? If
So
I were in
true.
her position, I honestly wouldn't really want to be friends with you anymore. Someone else said, you're the asshole. This would be fine if the artist was some rando, but this is supposedly your friend, right? At the very least, you should have offered to split the profit with her. Someone else said, not the asshole. You're allowed to resell art. You tried to help her, she refused, so you proved a point and earned some money for yourself. She should be grateful and thank you that she now earns more. Yeah, someone else responded underneath that. Just because he's legally right doesn't mean he's morally right.
Boom.
Yeah, and it's just one of the, I think if this was a person talking to me, like personally, I would just, it wouldn't be about like, hey, you're right or you're wrong. I'd just be like, hey, this friendship's about to go. Do you care to save it?
Yeah.
Does this friend matter to you?
Yeah.
And if they don't, if this whole point that you're making matters more, then you were never friends.
Exactly. And I think
Never actually cared about
what the first comment was really interesting, where it's like, this friend has access to this space that the artist doesn't.
Yeah.
Where it's like this friend has access to sellers, to buyers, and like an art gallery
It's a
that your
coffee
friend
shop.
doesn't have. That's like,
There's so many ways that they could have offered to prove this point better. Because
Yes.
like I work in a coffee shop that doubles as a gallery. Just be like, hey, look, let me put 2 of your pieces up and let me price them and let me show you. But no, she didn't do that. Like, or he didn't do that. I just think it's just, I get why the person's saying not the asshole, whatever, for those reasons legally, but we're not talking about law here.
yeah.
So that sucks. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that person's gonna.
It's like that friend has a pool and you don't. And you're like, well, I can swim. You follow?
I think I do.
And it's like, cool. Well, I don't have a pool. And you're like, well, cool. You have a pool. You get it?
I don't have a pool.
Let me know if you get it in the comments.
And look, man, there's a world where they had a friend who thinks like them and goes, oh yeah, thank you for proving that point. Like if you have a like mind, but these are 2 very different people, you know. But ultimately,
Not everyone is
So
a
you're
fool.
the asshole for mistreating your friend. You're not the asshole for selling the paintings.
this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. As you probably know, I've talked about it a lot on this show and the channel at large, is that I love therapy. I've been in therapy for a long time. I'm a big fan of psychology, and I'm a big fan of trying to work through my own brain and my own behavior and thinking, and it's not easy. And it's not easy for anyone. Everyone can benefit from therapy. I firmly believe that. And it can make life at the very least, a little bit easier day to day. An option for many is BetterHelp. It is convenient and it's entirely online and flexible, made to fit your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire and you'll be matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any point for no charge at all. So let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. And right now you can go to betterhelp.com/pitreddit to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/pitreddit. For 10% off your first month, pretty good deal. All right, next story. I remember this one.
He's smiling.
This one I remember, I think I had a bit of an unpopular stance on it.
Ooh.
I think I kind of thought this guy was a little bit of a legend, even if a lot of people disagreed.
Let's disagree.
Let me rereading it, though I'll remember.
Maybe you're different now.
Okay. Am I the asshole because I ate more than my share of a 6-foot party sub last night? See, it's just funny. Okay. I remember. All right.
6 foot?
6-foot party sub.
Oh my God.
Yeah, someone gave me one for my birthday.
A whole 6-foot party
Yeah,
sub?
my brother.
Look, it's like
ordered me
this.
one. Yeah, it took up a whole island.
Gigantic. All right. What I thought would be a total non-issue has ballooned into a huge problem, and I'm up at 7:05 a.m. dealing with it.
Legend.
I figured while I waited for a text, I could post here to see if what I did was really that bad. I'm a big fat ass. There's no way around it.
I love that. Yes.
I love to eat, which probably borders on addiction, but I figure since I'm only hurting myself, it's probably better to just live my life. I have some great friends, although there is no doubt I'm the harmless, funny, token fat guy of the otherwise pretty good-looking group. I guess that sets the stage enough. Last night, my friend hosted UFC and I was invited. He got a 6-foot party sub. I also brought homemade wings that are sort of my specialty. Well, of course, people flocked to the food, and I had basically one serving of the sandwich, but people devoured my wings, and I didn't get to have a single one, which is totally fine. That's why I brought them, but maybe an hour later, I was starving. I kept eyeing the sandwich, and I'd say there was about 3 feet of it left. I waited an hour, then another half hour, and no one had touched it. But they were still munching on chips, pretzels, and whatnot. So I was like, screw it. I took about half of what was left and ate it. Then the last half sat there for another 10 to 15 minutes, and no one said anything, so ate the rest. Well, to be sure, as I was swallowing the last bite, the host's girlfriend asked where the sandwich was. Like I was the guilty party, pretty much everyone pointed at me. I guess they'd noticed me eating the sandwich. She was furious and said that I was an incredible pig and that I had been super selfish to eat 3 feet of a sandwich. I felt so bad. I tried to explain to her that I really did wait over an hour and thought people had lost interest. I also tried to explain how everyone had ate my wings, and she said something along the lines of, "You brought them to share, Alan. If someone had eaten over half by themselves, that's not f***ing sharing, is it?" I offered to order pizza or even go get Subways, and she said that it was a pathetic offer because the party sub had been from a local shop owned by her friends. I said I was sorry, but the night was so tense from then on out. I woke up this morning to several texts from my twin sisters, the host's girlfriend's best friends, saying that I had to get my shit under control and that everyone is really mad at me and that I embarrassed myself last night. I tried to explain to them my mindset had been, and they haven't responded. Was I the asshole for eating that much of the sandwich last night? Edit. I guess I've been banned from responding, but my inbox has 1,200 notifications, so I can't find out why. To answer what seems to be the most common misconception, this wasn't a Subway party sub, so definitely not 4 times the size of a regular sub. This is a local place, so it's about 1.5 times the width of a regular sub. It's still a ton of food, don't get me wrong, but I can down 5 Subway footlongs in an afternoon easily. This is probably about equivalent to that, not 12 like some people are saying.
You're like, he's a legend because he ate 3 feet.
Yeah, I think a lot of how he I don't know. It's just an insane situation, and I think the way he writes, I kind of just think is funny. Like,
yeah.
He's also very, as opposed to most Am I the Asshole posts where they're like, what the f*** is wrong with these people? He's like, look, I am coming from a place of like, yeah, I understand that I f***ed up in some ways, but here's where I'm coming from. The politics of food
Yes.
when you're hanging out with people is such a thing.
that
isn't really,
I love it.
there's not really discussed
No.
at length.
No, it's not.
Oh no, and I have thoughts. Yeah.
Me and Angela, I feel like have very similar. I think we're both providers. We're both like, we're gonna bring everything to.
And we love cooking. We love dinner parties. We love eating with people and
Yes.
sharing foods. Yeah, you first.
And so I'm very conscious of what is there, like
And how many mouths to feed.
and how many mouths to feed, like almost cripplingly so. But it's there to be eaten. If an hour goes by
And
no
there's
one's-
still food there?
I'm like, damn, I f***ed up. I got too much food.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank God someone's eating. Thank God someone's eating. I didn't buy a 6 foot. It's embarrassing if I bought a 6 foot party sub and 3 feet of it is still there.
Half
Damn,
of it?
I bought the wrong thing for this party.
I'm also gonna
So
go.
Alan, thank you for eating the sub because it's there to
Alan.
be eaten.
Only counter argument I have, because something I feel, and it depends on how many people were there, I think a little bit, but all he had to do was go, hey guys, you mind if I snag a big chunk of this sandwich? It's been sitting here for an hour.
That's a communication thing too, and he has to be like, he has to put himself out there and be like, can I have this? Which I'm like,
Yeah, it just feels like a lack of communication, which is funny to say about a sandwich. But he could have said, hey, guys, do you mind if I have some of the sandwich? Or if he's going for that sandwich and they know they want some, could they be like, hey, do you mind saving me some?
Boom.
For a little bit? They just felt like they were all, because they were clearly
if you
watching.
cared about this sandwich so much, say
Because
something.
what's weird to me, too, is that they were sitting there and they all were aware. They're like watching him eat the sandwich.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they're mad at him afterwards. I'm like,
And then he goes,
point it out in the
You
while
are
it's happening.
so correct.
and then he felt so bad. He goes, I'll go to Subway. I'll go get a pizza. And they go, no, Alan. It was
Yeah.
from a local shop, Alan.
I'm like,
Yeah, they all
okay.
noticed him doing it. Like, that means you're aware of this. Go get some then.
And then he feels so bad he's texting, and they won't even text him back because they want him to suffer. I think he's talking about being different than the other people, and he probably eats differently, and he's waiting around. I think the fact that he waited an hour and he's saying he's hungry, he knows that he wants to eat more, he's hungry, and he's patiently waiting for them. And then they probably are, I don't know, I just.
Well, I think what it adds context for me that I feel bad for him is like this woman called him a pig, and you know, he's aware, he's very aware in his writing here, so I'm sure his friends are aware of his awareness of himself and feeling bad, and he's acknowledging like, yeah, this is my body type, all my friends are really awesome and attractive, and I'm not, and I feel bad for him. So all of this stuff they're saying to him, it's like, dude, he already, you know, this hits harder. Like, this hits harder in a different way for him.
And do you think that's gonna help? Like, do you think that's gonna, what you're saying to me right now, do you think that's gonna help me? Do you think that's what I need to hear? No.
Regardless of the politics of food at a party, I do feel for him, because I'm like, damn, you have a bunch of friends who you're saying are not your same body type, and they're all making you feel bad. I just think it does, and maybe I'm wrong for feeling like it is being a bit blown out of proportion, where you're not talking to him. Like, damn, have a conversation. Be like, hey man, in future gatherings, can you like just, can we talk about like this stuff? Because clearly this is a thing. I don't know.
There could be a POV where this has happened before many of time.
Sure.
So it's like, this could be the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, Alan, whenever we have a party, you eat maybe he's conscious of it this time. He's like, okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think punishing him for feeding himself after he's very much waited for everyone to get fed.
And to get his wings that he brought that he loves.
Yeah, it gets really, really bad.
Yeah, I can't say this with like, I want to say this, but this needs more context. But a part of me does feel like they're enjoying like games.
That's what I'm saying, is like it feels
a little bit like that.
It just feels like they're
Like I said, I'm like, they're sitting there watching him eat it.
Like, and
I'm like,
that's why I think
weird. Like, Say something.
And you do make a point about vocally, he could have said anyone want, but it does feel like time-wise, he did the right thing. He waited long enough.
Whole hour.
He could have said something, like he could have vocalized, but it did feel like there was a lot left and that there were other foods around. It felt like he had the green light, that he was like, exactly.
There was tons of opportunities for them to go get food. Or like I said, all they had to do was say, hey, Alan, do you mind saving me like a couple, like a foot of that sandwich? Or I'm gonna say, we wanna save a foot of it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just communicate.
What was the event?
They're just getting together to watch
fight.
a UFC fight.
Okay. So
Feeding yourself is like kind of a vulnerable thing, and when you're sharing and you're sitting around a table, it is like a thing. It's like and to just like beat your friend up.
I just feel, I do feel bad because he's like, hey, he's trying to remedy it. He's like, I feel bad. You're right. I f***ed up. Let me try to remedy it. And they're not letting him.
Yeah.
And that, to me, feels like very much like they're enjoying making him feel bad. But let's see, the comments. You're the asshole. Eat before you go to a party so you don't do that again. I'm also a heavy eater. I'd never even consider eating that much of something at a party or get together. Letting it sit for an hour doesn't mean anything. Others might have just been waiting to grab it after the fight. You said in a comment you polished it off during the fight. The wings prove the point. You were bummed that others ate all the wings and you didn't get a chance to have any, just like the people complaining about the sandwich they brought. Someone else said, everyone sucks here. You were wrong to have almost all of the party sub. It was selfish. The host's girlfriend should not have shouted at you. She caused a scene and made things uncomfortable. Your offer to order more food was a good enough apology for getting carried away with the sub. It may well be the case that you do this often and your friends are all a bit sick of it. Shouting at you and causing a scene is not the way to bring it up, but it might be worth considering that your behavior around food might be a source of irritation in your group. I think some of that is fair.
And maybe this is just a whole room of hangry people.
I like I said, I feel sorry for him. I feel sad for him.
Yeah.
It just sounds like some honest communication in this group, and it just sounds like they don't do that. So that sucks. Anyways, I'm gonna remember this story as we read it. Am I the asshole for making fun of my boyfriend's penis?
Ooh, I'm excited, but I'm scared.
Ooh. Okay.
I've made fun of my boyfriend's, I don't have a boyfriend now, but in the past I've made fun of a boyfriend's penis.
Okay, we're off to a start.
Okay, the head was really big and it looked like Darth Vader's head. So I was like,
Okay. Up front, my boyfriend has an awesome penis. It's not huge or anything, about 7 inches, we measured, and fairly girthy, but it is really, really even comically small when it's flaccid, like 2 inches. In the privacy of our relationship, I playfully make fun of it all the time, and he doesn't mind because he knows that he pleases me in bed. However, he has complained in the past about how much he hates locker room moments, when other dudes see it and assume he is hung like a grape, even though he is not. So the other night, we were having dinner with friends and played a game where we pulled word cues out of a hat. One of the cues was something like, things that are short, and I wrote down, my boyfriend's penis. They were, damn. They were all read aloud, and when it's revealed that I wrote that particular answer, the room explodes in laughter. My boyfriend tries to brush it off, oh, you got me, haha, and laughs with everyone else. Then one of my boyfriend's male friends, who he goes to the gym with, slaps him on the back and tells him, oh, we've all seen it, we still love you, bro. More laughter. After we get back to his place, my boyfriend tells me that it bothers him that his friends think of him as the small guy because all they had seen is his flaccid penis in the locker room. He said that they've made fun of him in the past and he has to brush it off for years because he feels that denying it would make a bigger deal out of it than it is and has to silently take it. He said that by making that joke, all I have done was reinforce the perception that it will just fuel the teasing. He wasn't mad, just disappointed. He said that he would never make fun of me if I had something unappealing about my body because he would never want to give me a negative impression about myself, that he would tell me I was beautiful no matter what. I felt really, really bad when he said that. I have apologized and things are fine now, but I think that maybe he is blowing this out of proportion. Am I the asshole or should he maybe not take this so seriously?
Oh, it's complicated.
It's a pretty complicated one. I do remember this now.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is kind of complicated, yes, because there's trust in the relationship, and there's self-image and body image, and he's feeling inadequate, and she's helping to this inadequacy, even though it's not true, but the perception is true of him and his friends. And there's also like, he's like, I would never do that to you, so why would you do that to me?
Yeah.
I want to be treated the way
Yeah.
right? And these people who like maybe are growers, and then he's like, nah, you little, they're just trying to team up on him, and he feels ganged up on.
Yeah.
And she's adding to this. He's like, no, you're supposed to be in my corner. We're together. We're a team in this.
Yeah.
And you're also helping them. Don't do that. Have my back. Even if he wasn't a grower, tell him I'm a shower. You're in my corner. You're the one who knows. Tell everyone I'm a shower. Just show it off. Show off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But then there's also like, take a joke. Like you say you have a 7-inch. You got it. You don't need to show. You don't need it. You don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Not you doing this.
Like go. Like that's a perfectly sized. 7 inches is perfect. You have nothing to prove. You have a girlfriend that loves you. Who cares? Get over it.
Yeah, I guess.
You are enough.
You are enough. I just think in most situations, I feel like going back to like rules, I think a good rule to have, unless you really are a couple who has established that this is not necessary and you're both cool with it, making fun of your partner's genitals in front of a bunch of people is probably 99 times out of 100 not good. Not gonna go over well. I also we do a ton of comedy here at Smosh, and we've done it for years. I kind of for myself have just learned jokes about people's bodies just rarely good.
No.
Rarely go well, and most of the time hurt someone. So it's because it's just something you can't change.
There's such a way to do it too.
Yes.
I think I've made a short to you joke, even about you, about a couple people at Smosh, but there's such a finesse, you have to do it in such a joking way that you're like.
There also has to be, it depends on the conversation, because I bring that stuff up, right? I make that joke and I own it, and if we're in that space and it's coming, there still has an element of respect in it.
Trust too.
But, and that's also, this is as vulnerable as it gets in this story, right? It's really, and as a dude, I mean, it's just the most intense thing.
Well,
it's also, this is one of those things, it's similar to, I'm sure there's comparisons for women, but it is really one of those strange things where it almost matters because it's in front of a bunch of bros.
Yes.
Strangely,
Of course.
a straight man in front of his bros almost matters more than if you're in a room full of women, because it's oh, dude, I don't want my bros to know that.
That's what it felt like it mattered when the friend piled on.
That's
Not when
what
she
really-
did
That's when-
something.
yeah.
It was when his buddy. So that was my question. What's going on in these locker rooms, really?
He's just not.
So what's
He's not hard, so it's not big, so they only see it when it's small.
Yeah.
They're not
Are you
really.
And they're making
looking
fun
No,
of
they're
it.
not really looking, but you can kind of when someone is hanging, you're gonna see it. If it's just little, it's little. It's just you can't not. It's peripheries. It's I can see computer over there. I can see Shane. I can see things.
And you're
Right.
talking. And
You're talking. You're doing shit.
Yeah.
And so I get what he's saying. They always think it's small.
But
He never told her that they've ever made jokes, so that might have been the first moment.
But then
And
they
that's-
pile on when she makes that
Yeah.
joke and he goes, "We've seen it," or something like that.
I think what probably hurt him is he was it's one of those things where you know what people might be thinking, but it gets solidified, and he goes, oh, all my friends probably think I have a small penis.
Yeah.
And then in that moment they go, we all think you have a small penis, and he's going, okay, now there's no doubt, I have to now.
It could have been before, that's in my head. They're not even looking at my dick.
She had a moment there where she could have been well, his penis, we call it Bruce Banner because it turns into the Hulk.
Boom! He's a grower, not a
just
shower.
do something
Boom.
like that. Have that moment, yes, make that joke, but then also recognize the situation and go, oh, but let me ollie you
but let me be
this.
clear.
Yeah. But yeah, to just leave it there sucks.
Brutal.
It's pretty brutal.
You left him hanging.
And it wasn't, it wasn't really a tee up that was her only option. It's things that are short, and she just threw that out there. It's you didn't have to. I get it if he was making a joke.
Yeah.
And she's like, aha, yeah, whatever. But if he was saying jokes on that level, then yeah, then you've entered that arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't help but think if he made a joke about her body.
That's what I mean. Just jokes about people's bodies is really.
It's not okay.
Really
He did
intense.
say he didn't. He did say I would never say these things to her or treat her that way.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like not okay. Yeah.
We have established from this story that he did not say anything.
Yeah.
It's also just not clever to me anymore.
No.
It's just like, yeah, okay, cool. Every single dick joke was made 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So, anyways, comments here. Very much you're the asshole, and how dare you claim he's overreacting, considering he seemed to react very calmly and reasonably and was quick to forgive you, considering how incredibly out of line you were. Someone else said, you're the asshole. He wasn't blowing things out of proportion. Never insult your partner's looks, jokingly or not, and definitely don't do it in front of all of his friends. I get playful banter at home, but doing it in front of his friends is just straight up mean. Someone else said, you're the asshole. Penis size is an incredibly sensitive topic for many guys for various reasons. Making fun of your SO publicly about something he has already admitted being insecure, upset about, lacks some tact and empathy on your part, but it's not it's not an end of the world situation. This is just a learning moment. Build up his confidence, boast about your man to others, and be openly proud of him. Or, just don't talk about his to other people. Yeah, I think I agree with that. All right, next one. Am I the asshole for wanting to play COD on Christmas instead of spending time with my wife and kids?
Oh, interesting.
Hell yeah, dude. My birthday is on Christmas Day. I've always spent my birthday celebrating Christmas and never do anything I want. My son is 3 and my daughter is 6 months old. I spend a lot of time with them and my wife and barely see my friends anymore. This Christmas, I just want to play COD with the boys. They're all going to be playing COD on Christmas / my birthday, and I don't want to miss out. They are never online at the same time. My wife is incredibly angry with me and wants to throw my new Xbox out the window. I'm angry because I just want to play COD with the boys on my birthday. Am I the asshole?
This is kind of one of those legend.
It's a legend, but he's an asshole. I'm sorry. It's for me. This is so clear cut. I'm like, it's Christmas Day. You have a 3-year-old. I'm sorry, man. Like, you can't.
You gotta play COD or you gotta be with the family?
You got it.
Because I'm still not sure.
Those are core memories for that 3-year-old potentially. Like, do not.
What time is it? He's just doing it all day. Me trying to play COD with the boys.
I maybe there's more context that we need. I don't know.
Much more context.
Because look, if it's like, hey,
how often is he with them?
To be honest, Christmas is all about that. For me, as a kid, if I put myself in the mind of a 3-year-old, I don't have many memories when I was 3. I was like 4 when I.
So you're saying it doesn't matter?
Yeah.
You're saying
but he could maybe if this kid's like me.
Yeah.
But after like noon on Christmas, everyone just kind of off.
You do whatever
in my Christmas
you're playing with the
experience.
toys.
You play with the toys.
Yeah, you're done.
You blow up the sock and boppers.
The 3-year-old should have a.
So if he's playing COD at like 4 p.m. that day, dude. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unless the wife has to take care of everything.
She's like cleaning up wrappers. She's like,
yeah.
He's making cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
He's crying. Like,
so his birthday
making
is
cinnamon
Christmas
rolls.
Eve, right?
Yes, it's his birthday, but it's also Jesus' birthday.
Right.
So
Okay.
It's tough.
This feels like one of those toxic people, not toxic, but this feels like one of those people that has a tie to the birthday itself. You know what I'm talking about? Where he's like, it's the day. I have to do something on that day. Like, can't you take the day after to play COD?
Well, because all of his boys are playing COD.
they're all playing today.
Which also, it's
And they're probably
it's
all with their
suspect that
families.
Can't we celebrate your birthday the next day and play COD the next day?
They don't have work. It's Christmas and his birthday.
But I assure you that the next day you don't go back to work, right?
Yeah, but his boys, typically no.
I don't know.
It depends on what they do. We don't know what his boys do.
There's just so much downtime on Christmas. For me personally, I'm like, okay, what the hell am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do?
Christmas Day, it's Christmas Eve that I think is like the magical one.
Yeah.
Christmas Day usually is just kind of like.
You're right, by noon, I'm like,
Surely the boys can fill out a doodle and find a 3-hour time.
A doodle.
We could all play COD. That's
doodle.
not on Christmas.
Let's see the comments here. You want to spend your daughter's first Christmas playing COD with the boys? Your friends and your birthday should not be more important to you than your children. You're the asshole. Someone said, his daughter is 6 months old. She won't remember. Fair enough about the point on spending Christmas with family, but he's allowed to have different values. Millions of people don't celebrate Christmas and they have happy families. Someone responded to that saying, if his post indicated that he didn't celebrate or recognize Christmas for a religious reason, my response would have been quite different. I didn't tell my Jewish or Muslim friends they have to spend Christmas with their families. He doesn't have to like Christmas, but if everyone else in his family does, and there is no specific religious objection, then he needs to work with his wife to meet everyone's needs. Someone said, gentle, you're the asshole. It's tough having your birthday on Christmas. However, you have kids. You can play COD with the boys, celebrating your birthday on the day before or after Christmas, or any other day. But you can't celebrate Christmas with your kids on any other day. See if your friends can reschedule.
Yes.
Someone said, for f***'s sake, these selfish dad posts need to stop. Yes, you're the asshole. Have some f***ing common sense. If you don't want to be a husband and father, don't get married and don't have kids. Holidays are for families, for the kids mostly. Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? My grandma had a birthday right in the week of Christmas, so she just
shifted it.
She just shifted her birthday to, I want to say it was February. She's just like, we're gonna celebrate it then. And it's just like,
legend.
just moved it. And so my mom would still like call her on her birthday near Christmas.
But just move it.
For everyone else, because she knew.
Yeah.
But
my grandma's birthday's on Christmas, and we just always celebrated both at the same time.
It works out once you're like older, because then all your family
true.
will be around. But probably when my grandma was younger.
Yeah.
So there's some updates.
Oh my God. Oh my God, this is what we need.
Update.
Okay,
I'm getting flamed here, and I feel like the asshole, but I still don't think it's a crazy ask. I've never really celebrated my birthday. I was lucky if anyone other than my brother said the words happy birthday.
Oh my God.
My mom was super religious and made us spend every Christmas at church from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Really? Do people do that? Holy shit.
Yeah, people do.
The only acknowledgement I ever got from my family was a cake after dinner and a pack of socks once. I left home the day after my high school graduation, and that's when I met my boys that I mentioned in my post. We've been everywhere together, have literally saved each other's lives, and they are my brothers. They've always made me feel like my birthday was actually my birthday and not just Christmas. My wife has done this too, but not to the extent that the boys have. Also, we haven't gotten together since before my son was born. We all live in different states and never see each other anymore. Edit number 2. Okay, I was not planning on playing all day. I planned on opening presents with the family, then hopping on with the boys around noon. I get what everyone is saying, but I still don't think it's a big ask. Family time is incredibly important, but I happen to think that COD with the boys is too. He did that emoji. So that kind of fits in with what I was saying.
Yeah.
Around noon,
clock in a little.
it's like, okay, man.
Hey, where we dropping?
Edit number 3. Thanks for the input, everyone. To clarify a few things, I will not be helping with dinner. I never do, and it's for the best. My wife and I agree. I spend a lot of time with my family. I always wanted to give them the dad I never had. My dad is still around, but was a drunk and has a new family now. I'm very close with my son, and hopefully I'm just as close with my daughter once she's a little older. My wife is convinced that the boys don't like her. We've been together a total of 10.5 years, and she's always said that they feel like she stole me away from them. This is not true, and they have never indicated this. When I do get to play, I don't shirk my responsibilities. I always do what I have to, but mostly just play on the rare occasion that I get the house to myself. What I'm asking for is uninterrupted time with the boys. I haven't even thought of asking for this before. Doesn't seem to matter how long to my wife. She doesn't want me online at all. This is a bit of a untrustworthy narrator to me, because this is feeling very like to the 10th degree. She doesn't want me online at all. She doesn't like my boys. She doesn't want me talking to the boys.
I want uninterrupted time with the boys.
I kind of want to hear her side to really judge this, because this feels very emotional coming
Especially where he's like, oh, she doesn't want me helping with dinner. And she's like, no, I'd
She's
love
like,
for
please
him to,
cut this onion.
It would be so
Can
helpful
you
if
just
you unloaded the
just
dishwasher.
cut the onion.
My wife and I
unload the
agree.
dishwasher, please.
My wife and I agree that I shouldn't do anything in the kitchen.
No.
Did she agree to that?
Who said that?
Maybe.
Who said that?
Maybe.
But
I would.
That's so
I can't
true.
I can't take this post at face value.
That's really good.
Also, it just feels like His attachment to the boys feels a little attached.
He ran away from home.
He's saying he hasn't gotten together for. It also, you know what I will also say, because I get this a lot in these Reddit posts. Giving his whole family backstory, it's like, cool, man. This is the situation today. I get your whole family backstory. Your wife has a whole family backstory.
I'm also hearing your dad has a new family and you ran away from your family. You need family, bro.
Yeah.
You need family.
It's like, cool.
He's like,
you're throwing out a bunch of things to make us just side with you.
Yeah.
As opposed to talking about what you didn't give was how long you're planning to play today.
Yeah.
What chores, what responsibilities your wife is gonna have all day today.
Yeah.
What your wife maybe is already planned for your birthday this week and everything. He's not giving us any of the important information, but he's giving us all the information to like bolster his
Like I earned this. I earned this.
Yeah, it's a little lightly, as far as a Reddit post goes, it feels a little manipulative towards the commenters of like, here's why you're wrong. All this stuff.
Before you answer, am I the asshole? Know that I'm a good guy.
It's one of these posts. It's a post where I'm like, hey man, did you really want to post on here? Like, do you actually want an opinion? All right, guys, this is the last story.
Okay.
It is the most insane story. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend's mother she raised a fucking sociopath who needs to be in a facility? So I, a 26-year-old woman, have a boyfriend who's 24, and recently he got into a dispute with the neighbor's kids. They accidentally kicked their football into our yard, and they came into the garden to get it back. To be honest, I didn't care, but my boyfriend started screaming at these like 11-year-olds about how they are poorly raised and their parents should be ashamed. I was fucking mortified. I sent the kids some chocolates and sweets and apologized profusely for his behavior. I was seeing red flags and told him this behavior was not normal. He kind of brushed me off, and I told him if he pulled anything like that again, he was gone. The next week, the ball came into our garden, and I was about to throw it back to the kids when my boyfriend stormed outside and took the ball inside. I told the kids that I would bring it back in a minute. He went into the bathroom and emerged like 10 minutes later wearing gloves and a football covered in shit. His own shit. What the f***? I asked him if he was out of his fucking mind, but he stormed past me and threw it over the fence screaming, "Take that, you bitches."
Shane.
Okay, just give us a second. Now we're ready. Yeah.
I screamed, and girl, I mean screamed at him about how he was a fucking douche, and I wanted him out of my house, and he is a disgusting fucking monster, that they were just kids. I screamed, and eventually he left. I deleted all his games off his PS4 and gave it to the kids as an apology. I was so embarrassed. My ex-boyfriend's mom messaged me asking what happened, and I responded with, "What happened? What happened?"
Yeah, right.
You are a pathetic excuse of a woman who raised a fucking sociopath.
Wait, whoa, wait.
Who covered a football in his own shit and threw it at some kids, and he needs to be in a facility because something is wrong with him. And God knows how I hadn't seen any red flags about the fucking monster you raised during the 7 months we dated. I know I am in the right for what I did to my boyfriend, but am I in the wrong for snapping at the mother for something she had no direct involvement in? So that's poopball. Look, man, I know there's a lot of fake stories on Reddit. This one, I believe, because it's just like the details of it and the way it like is layered and how she's like, I'm not the asshole for this stuff. Am I the asshole for how I reacted to the mom? I'm like, I think this is real, man. And it's nuts. This goes like, dude.
Do you think it was on top of the ball or all around the ball?
I think it was all around it.
So he had to put his hands...
That's why the gloves, that's what the gloves were for.
The gloves, you know what, the gloves somehow make it worse for me, because I'm like, that makes it more clinical. That makes it more like premeditated, calculated. I'm like, he literally was
there
like...
was intent.
There was intent.
I was so mad I shit on a ball. And no. I got gloves from somewhere, probably weren't in the bathroom, and covered a ball in shit.
I'm begging you, I really want to read her monologue as a monologue to her mom. You know what I mean?
What happened? Okay.
Okay.
Give it to us.
Thank you. I'm auditioning for the University of Michigan's musical theater program. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to be his ex-boyfriend. Ask me what happened. His ex-boyfriend's mom.
So what happened?
What happened?
No, it's too much already.
Okay.
I don't understand. What happened?
What happened? What happened? You are a pathetic excuse of a woman who raised a f***ing sociopath who covered a football in his own shit and threw it at some kids who needs to be in a facility because something is wrong with him. And God knows how I haven't seen any red flags about the f***ing monster you raised during the 7 months we dated.
And then it cuts back to the theater room of the Oscars, and it's on you, and you're like,
Yeah.
Thank you. This doesn't make sense at all. Like,
No,
what
it's
a
really
weird,
bad.
what a weird.
Angela Giratana, poop ball. And the Oscar goes to Octavia Spencer. Thank you.
I botched that because it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Weird.
I think it's more. It's like almost like, are you serious?
Why she's in this to his
You know
mom?
exactly what I think.
I think she's in a bit of shock right now.
The woman is saying, "What happened? Oh, he told you, and you're still taking his side. What happened to me? No. What did he tell you that you're saying what happened? Because you clearly already know something happened."
So I needed to do some scene study before that.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll workshop it.
Some comments. You're the asshole for sending the message because I'm sure she would have maybe understood how angry you were if you came across nicer. But wow, I can't even imagine being in your position. Has he done anything like this before? Edit. I did not mean that OP is the asshole for the entire situation. It's a very soft, you're the asshole. Sorry for any confusion. OP responded, no, I always thought he was calm. It came completely out of the blue. Someone else said, everyone sucks here. Your ex is a madman, and yeah, I'm all for dumping his ass and kicking him out of your house, but his PS4 was not yours to give away, and to be honest, while it's possible that mother did a terrible job raising him, you yelled at her and berated her for stuff her grown-ass adult son did. That's super uncalled for. OP responded, I paid for the PS4.
Woo!
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Come on down to the K. Oh no.
Reminder, he's 24. Like,
Oh no.
fully grown. Someone said, you're the asshole. Sometimes kids grow up to be wonderful because of the parents who raised them, and sometimes they're serial killers. I wouldn't have assumed it was her fault, and now she has reason to say something similar to your mother.
She also, didn't the mom just ask what happened?
Yeah, that's the only context we have is she's just like, hey, what
Because
happened?
that says he is not telling me everything that I need to know, and I'm coming to you. I'm like, I know he might be.
I'd be curious how the mom texted that or phrased that, because if she just goes, hey, like, you guys broke up, what happened?
Yes.
Yeah, or like, as opposed to, what did you do to my son?
Is that what it says?
No, it's just said,
what happened?
She messaged her saying what happened. That's why I'm like, okay, yes.
It should have been a phone call.
But I think she had so much going on in her head.
Yeah, 100%.
You just witnessed a traumatic thing.
Yeah, you're right.
That's insane. Yeah.
It just needed a little more communication.
Totally.
Again.
It's like, like when you're fighting with your partner and then you have that one moment where you get to be like f***ing crazy and irrational and you just like unleash. It happened to his mom. Like, like she didn't do it to him.
Well, she's probably scared of him for good reason.
He covered a ball in shit with gloves.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. If I watch someone cover a ball in shit and throw it at some kids, I'm probably not gonna try to. I'm probably gonna be like, I'm out of here.
So she was like, let me scold your mom instead of him. Yeah, I get that. I guess.
I don't get that. I mean, I get it, but I don't.
I don't. Yeah.
It's not the right move.
No.
No. Bro, the perspective of those kids is those kids had a Stranger Things like story. This is a kids on bike situation where they're like, dude, we all experienced something together that will bond us for life. Yeah.
You're never forgetting
If an evil clown comes out of the sewer, they're gonna be like, we got this. We have handled way worse.
They're like,
I mean,
Holy
dude.
shit, when you get this ball.
It's a bit of a gift to those kids. Those kids, they're gonna meet up when they're 40 years old and be like,
Poop ball.
poop ball, dude. Yeah, dude, poop
Like,
ball.
what's up, how are you? Yeah, we've been through the shits together.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, too, when they come back as adults.
Well, that's poop ball. Those are some of the best Twitch
Guys,
classics.
those are some really good ones. That's
They're
like reading the
very
Old
good.
Testament.
They're very good. Reading them for the first time live on Twitch was insane. Because it's like, whoo, and you know,
Ball.
but you're getting the chats like
Oh, the
interaction. Whereas
chat.
nowadays we do these and then I see the comments and sometimes comments point out something that I'm like, oh man, I didn't think of that. Or,
Yeah.
oh man, I was wrong there. But it's a blast. It's a total blast.
Gosh, this show and these people.
But these people are everywhere.
Yeah.
Poop
They're all
ball.
over the place.
I can't even, what do you even do with it? Do you just keep it in your yard?
Yeah, what do they do with it? The parents have to come get it.
Probably hose
I
it
hope-
off and throw it away. Or just throw it away. I don't know. Burn it.
No, not hose it off because then it's in your
Call
yard.
the-
Not burn it.
Anyways, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
This has been great. And thank you guys for watching. You know, we have a lot of fun here. And we'll be here again next Saturday. So join us then. Next week, we will have a special guest. Thomas Sanders will be here. And we're going to be reading stories. This has been a heavily requested episode. So you'll want to tune in. We're going to be covering some good stuff. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Go play COD with the boys.
Go play COD with the boys.